Hello, welcome to Female Founderhood podcast, and this is actually where you get to eavesdrop on two female founders having a chat, having a rant, or maybe a little bit of gossip about the blood, sweat, and tears on how to build a community, build wealth, and more importantly, to actually fulfill our dreams. So, welcome, Bianca. I forgot now how to pronounce your last name again.
Bianca Brathwaite.
Yeah, that one. What's your origin? What's your heritage?
So my granddad moved over from Barbados. So he come over on the Windrush when he was 18 years old, worked in Portsmouth Dockyard for his whole life.
Oh my
In the days
God.
where people would stay in one job for their whole lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait. So your
yeah, and
granddad.
that's so.
And then what happened? What happened to him?
So he passed when I was 22. He passed away. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like the king of the family. But yeah, in Barbados, the surname Brathwaite is like Smith over here, so it's really, really common. And
Oh, okay.
actually, I believe Rihanna's Rihanna's nan has the same surname, so who
Hmm.
knows? Could be related. You never know.
Yeah. That gal Bianca. And she's
that
the
would be the
national
dream,
hero
right?
now. And she's the national hero, right?
She really is. She really is.
Yeah.
Like
She
she
has a
is
medal and everything.
like bad girl business woman, like amazing.
Yeah. And how about your grandmother? Did your granddad marry fellow Barbadian or?
No. My granddad moved over here, met my nan, and yeah, that is how the family was created. So
Ah,
yeah, white British nan, Bayesian granddad, and the rest is history.
and that explains the exotic look you have because
Oh, thank you.
right, it's always nice to have like a cool exotic streak, right? Because then you're not vanilla.
Yeah.
And
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't feel so exotic at the moment in this heat. I should do, but I feel more like sweaty and tired.
I know. I mean,
Hence why I'm just going, I'm just going realist today. Hair up in a bun, t-shirt, no makeup. Like makeup is a thing of the past in this heat. I'm sorry, but I'm not
oh
doing
my
it.
God,
Bit
it's
of
brunch.
mascara and that's it. We're done. Yeah,
No
exactly
bra,
that. Exactly
no
that.
bra, no bra.
Yeah.
Temperature.
Yeah. Exactly that. Exactly
Oh
that.
gosh. So, did you always want to be an entrepreneur, or did you start your career, or even as a child, did you dream to build your own thing?
Do you know what? No, not
Mm.
at all. I think the experiences that the experiences that I've experienced in life, my life experiences have shaped, where I am now at this point of,
Mm.
being an entrepreneur, which is crazy, right? So I was always this girl, like I grew up, I went to college and
Mm-hmm.
I studied travel and tourism, I studied media studies. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just at this point like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know if there is an age that you get to where you finally, I think it's different for everyone. And I sometimes part of me thinks, do you have to get to an age, like do you have to know what you want to do, or can you just,
Yeah.
why can't we just go with it? Like, why do we have to have a plan? So I guess, I struggled with my own mental health and these life experiences, and
Mm-hmm.
they just turned me into a really empathetic person, someone that just wanted to help people. So what I've said ever since I set up my CIC is I just want to help people, but it just
Mm.
happened to be that I needed to start a business to carry on doing that. And
Yeah.
that's where I am right now.
So tell me, because I don't think we have so far 15 episodes in a founder of a CIC. Can you explain to the listener what a CIC is? What's the difference between CIC and a charity? Especially those outside the UK
Yeah.
that doesn't know UK type of
Yeah,
business
absolutely.
people format.
Do you know what? I'm still learning, and some might say, well, you should know the definition, like page to page, but realist over here. I'm a girl that's just started out a business that has no idea what she's doing and is learning every day, and I'm totally cool with that. So the what I take from the description of a CIC, so it's a community interest company, for anyone that doesn't know the abbreviation, and it's basically just that, a company with the community at heart. So we can structure the non-profit in the same way as you would a company. You can you can still do the company by guarantee like you would an actual registered company. It's all done through
Mm-hmm.
Companies House, and nothing goes through the charity commissioners. And you can basically, it highlights to those that might want to support the CIC that there is we can't just sell this company. We can't just sell this company for millions. We can, we have an asset lock, so we have to, if we were to ever close, we would give those assets to another non-profit, to another charity. So it's just, more so a different type of registering a non-profit organization. So I think, I've had a company in another charity in Portsmouth called The Hive, and they help charities to set up. So they help charities, CICs, non-profits. And we were just having a discussion, and I think what it came to was, I was very scared to do this, and I was like, I've never ever registered anything like this in my life. Like, what would be the more simple route to go down whilst I'm getting started out? And so actually CIC is a lot more simple, less paperwork than registering with the Charities Commission. So I thought, you know what, I would do that because from what I understand, if there's any listeners that think different, please do let me know. But you can sign up as a CIC and then move into a
To a
charity,
charity.
but
Yeah.
you can't do
The
it the
other
other
way
way
around.
around. So if
Yeah.
I started up a charity and then I was like, whoa, this is too much, I can't then just
Yeah.
go and do it,
Yeah.
like change it to a CIC. But now I'm a
Yeah.
CIC. At any point that I'm ready, I can then go and register as a charity with the Charity Commission. So, something that may happen in the future. But yeah, so we can still go for the same funding, the same grants. We can still, it's just very much more of a business-like structure and a business-like model.
Yeah. So it's a social entrepreneurial journey then, yeah? So
Yes,
can you
yeah,
tell the
very much
listeners
so.
what is what does your company do? It's called Mindset Maintenance. I love that. It's like an MOT, but for your head.
Thank you. Yeah, right. So mindset maintenance is all about help. Long story short, helping people to help themselves. So we're all focused around well-being for a better mental health. So it's those things that day to day we very often overlook, or from what I see, from what I experience when I speak to people in this realm, and when
Mhm.
I have conversations with friends, with family, with colleagues, with anyone nearby, it's that, so many things that are in our
Mhm.
day-to-day life are
Mhm.
overlooked so much. And that comes from, okay, yes, I've had my own bad experiences. So I lost my auntie to homicide in 2014. I lost my cousin to suicide. towards the late part of my 20s. And I've also struggled with my own mental health. And I think
Right.
I'm always going to be this person that just feels the highs very, we're very much,
Mm,
when things are good, I'm so grateful and I'm so happy. And, the most simplest of things will just make me so joyful. But actually,
yeah.
when I feel the lows, I really feel those. And that's me, and that's who I am. And I've got to learn to live with that and learn
Mm,
to manage that myself.
mhm.
But actually, I went through a big chunk of my 20s
Yeah.
just having I had these really shitty ways of coping, Rebecca. And
Mhm.
it wasn't
Tell
until I
us.
went to the doctors one day and I was like, my depression's really bad. Like,
Mhm.
obviously these tablets aren't working, but actually, like, Bianca, you were going out every weekend, like, alcohol, substance abuse, late
Mhm.
nights, spending time with y- people that, you know, people I that weren't,
Healthy?
I guess, just, yeah, yeah. Putting if you want to get somewhere, then you need to surround yourself with people that are
Mm,
wanting to go somewhere too. Um,
yeah.
and this was it. Like, what was I consuming on my screens? What was I, all of these things, all these things are well-being, you know?
Mm,
And
yeah.
so that was when a light bulb moment just went off in my head, Bianca, you're
Mhm.
sat in the doctors, like almost the audacity, you're sat in the doctors and look at your own lifestyle. And it was probably like the
Right.
lockdown. I think everyone, I mean, I don't know if everyone did, but I certainly had a lot of time to think and a lot of time to reflect.
Yeah.
And reflection is such a good thing, right? Because
Mhm.
it just made me realize that I need to change. Like, no one else is going to come in. No one's going to swoop in and save you. There are many people in the world that just think, life owes them something and
Yeah.
someone needs to help them. But actually,
Mhm.
and I was one of those people. I was living in this victim mindset of, why do bad things happen to me and it's not fair. And you get to this point where you realize, no, bad things are happening to everyone. And you it gets to a point where you got to sort your own shit out, to be
Yeah. And do you not
to be
I
quite
think the
frank about it.
pandemic shows it actually because the actual pandemic happens to everyone. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's not just
absolutely. And there are a
it
lot of
didn't just
people,
happen in Portsmouth.
a lot of exactly. And there are a lot of people struggling off the back of that. And look, this isn't to take away from the fact that working on yourself isn't hard. It is. It's really
Mhm.
difficult. And there are, believe me, I think it's so easy for people to sit there and see other people's highlight reels and think, wow, they've got it all going on and this is really great for them. But
Yeah.
actually,
They have their
there are
shit together.
days where
Why
my
can't I?
friends, yeah. And I'm like, no, there are days where I'm literally crying. 2 weeks ago, I was crying my eyes out in bed one night, like text my mum, like, I'm going to go and look for a full-time job again. Like,
Oh,
but this is real shit. And this is shit that people need to see, because it's
exactly.
not easy. It's not supposed to be easy, because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be doing it. And it's
Yeah.
just not the case, because it's not easy. But living that previous lifestyle that I lived is really hard.
Mm.
Coming into this world of personal development and feeling my shit and,
Mhm.
learning about myself and growing is also really hard, but you have to choose your hard. Like, they're both difficult. So
Yep.
which one is going to be more
It's a
beneficial to you? Because
poison.
I know which one was more beneficial to me. Exactly that. Exactly that.
Bianca, can I double click on what happened to you two weeks ago? Because I want to take the listeners well, A, misery loves company, right? And two,
Mm,
this is also to double click on what we have been saying, like we need to put the highlight reel also to highlight the blood, sweat, and tears. So tell us what happened
Yes.
leading up to that moment where you had to cry. And because believe you me, I also, from maybe every quarter, I keep telling myself, you know
Yeah.
what, just hang the towel or throw in the towel, apply for a 9 to 5
Yeah.
job, and you
Oh
don't have
my
to think about
God.
anything
Yes.
else. Just let other people
Yeah.
worry about the paycheck, and you don't have to worry
Mm,
about whether or not you will make payroll for your staff.
mm,
So yeah, tell
mm.
me what happened 2 weeks ago.
But you say that right, Rebecca. You say that. Go and get a 9 to 5 job and you won't have to worry about anything else. But you will, because you've got to worry about the fact that you
Yeah,
know you're destined for more. You
I
know
know.
that you have got so much potential and that is going to sit there and eat
All over
you
you.
up inside, you know? You know, like I just think this life, like we've only got this one life, right? And God, what if we get to the age, like I did a live this morning on my socials, like what if we get to this age of 80, 90 and we just didn't even try? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, what happens if we try and we fail? Okay, at least we tried, you
yeah,
know? Like, I just think, but yeah, no. So 2 weeks ago, I mean, this is perfect example actually of these lows, right? So
yeah.
I think there's a couple of factors in that. One of them is I'm very much affected by the weather. You know, if I'm just one of these girls that is I just get affected by things, you know.
Me too.
The weather really puts a dampener on my mood. So
Yeah,
I wonder if it came a little bit early before we got this surprise heat wave, but I seem to struggle with like this sad disorder when it comes into like September, October time. So
yeah.
I went away on holiday to Ibiza and I came back and it was like the only way I can describe it is like this dark cloud. And you
Mm,
know, everything's fine. And people say, but what's wrong? And I'm like, I wish I could tell you because I wish I could
mhm.
tell myself. But actually,
Yeah.
sometimes you just go through this period where, you know, I just can't stop crying. I don't know what's making me cry, but I just feel
Mm,
sad. And that's such, I think no matter how much you learn about your brain, so, you know, I know why it happens. I don't know why I'm feeling it a certain way in a certain moment, but I know that this is a normal part of life. I know that I'm a person that feels my feelings and
mhm.
I know I'm a person that goes through these periods of,
Yeah.
you know, just low mood, depression, anxiety, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
but it
What did the doctor call it?
doesn't, you can, pardon?
What did the doctor call it?
So depression and anxiety
Mm,
that
okay.
I've been diagnosed, you know, someone that suffers with depression and anxiety, which is fine, right? Because that doesn't define who I am.
Oh yeah, but,
I am
but
not
at least
depression
you
and
know.
anxiety. I just,
Yeah.
mm, mm. And so yeah, so one of them I think, yeah, triggered by the weather. And
Mhm.
another thing is that I've always struggled with my hormones. And as of recent, you know, last couple of years, I was diagnosed with PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is being recognized a lot more. But it's
Mm,
almost like premenstrual syndrome, but very,
mhm.
very intense. So, you know, that luteal phase that you go through,
Yeah.
you just have the, you know, for me it's like 3 or 4 days of I don't know what's going to happen, but it's like the world around me implodes. And you know, I'm either really angry or I'm really low, you know, suicidal ideation and just real low
Mhm.
mood
Mhm.
until week one of my cycle starts again. And it's like you wake up in the morning and everything is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, what happened? What just happened over these last
Yeah.
few
Like
days?
who was
And then
that?
you're having to explain to, yeah, literally, who was
Right?
that? And then I'm having to explain to, you know, my family, my friends.
And to apologize.
They know by this point. Yeah, like, I'm so sorry for shouting at you. they know that I have this thing, but it doesn't make it. It still kind of
Yeah,
makes you feel a bit like,
it
oh,
doesn't
why did I
excuse
act like
it.
that? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, yeah, got back from holiday, just yeah, felt this sense of just low mood. There was one day where I just couldn't
Mm,
even leave the house. I just didn't want to be around anyone. And it's yeah, no matter how much you know about it, it doesn't make it any easier to get through. But I think I now always have the faith that I will get through it.
get
And
over it.
so for
Yes.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there is the important things for me is to have my little mantras. So I've got my little mantras like you know what this is, you'll get through it. You always get through it, and then as of recent I've been saying to myself, it's very easy for your brain will always think of the negative things. So, that little chimp in my brain is always saying you can't do this. And then I always fight back with you're doing it though. You've been doing it. So we're sat and the
This is
chimp in
not
our
your
brain is
first
saying that we
rodeo.
can't do these things. But yeah, but we're doing them. I've been doing this for nearly 2 years now. It's just that I've just started doing it, more as a full-time thing rather than in my spare time. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's important to challenge those thoughts that come from the emotional part of your brain, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to reach out. I think when you're in, for me, when I'm in that phase of low mood, it's very easy to think, oh, I can't speak to so and so because they're too busy.
Yeah.
I can't speak to so and so because they've got kids. You just don't want to burden anyone. You don't want to be that person, but actually, no, be that person because people would rather sit and speak to you and know that you're okay than something
Yeah.
terrible happen. And as soon
Mm,
as you reach out, you realize that. And so,
mm.
to anyone that's listening, that's feeling in that, like reach out because people do care. They really do. And I think for me, like the more you speak to people, the more you realize that you're not alone in this. There are other people that
Yes.
are, like me and you, having these
Yeah.
moments where they're just like, I can't do this. And,
Yeah.
for me, that thought is that I work in well-being. How can I do this?
Yes.
How
It's
can I
almost like
create this well-being CIC?
if you yourself is not well, right?
Exactly. But actually, the thing that my friends and people around me remind me of continuously is that's why you do it. That's why you do it because
Yeah.
because you live it.
Yes.
If I wanted to go and have therapy, I wouldn't go to someone that's never been through anything in their life, because how
That's
can
my
you
point.
relate to that,
Almost like it's almost like looking at a chief diversity officer who is a white boy,
Mm, yeah, yeah.
right? Like,
And you're just like, what?
what have
Like
you've never experienced any anything. It's all privilege.
yeah,
Unless of
yeah,
course, yeah, unless of course you recognize your privilege. But if you do recognize your privilege, give that seat to someone else,
yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely.
right?
But
So yeah, I
it's
love
I
that.
just
I
thought,
love that
yeah,
you yourself is a mental health patient and you
mm,
build mindset maintenance. And so, what do you actually do on a day-to-day basis? Basically, you provide education and development for people in general, people in the workplace. Is that right?
yeah. So we provide well-being, so free well-being workshops in the Portsmouth and surrounding areas,
Yeah.
well-being, corporate well-being support. So I have, and the thing about mindset maintenance is that we facilitate these amazing workshops and events and corporate solutions, but they wouldn't be what they are without collaborating with all these amazing people in the city and without bringing in all of these different coaches that we know. So, for me personally, I would never go in and speak about mental health unless I was talking about my own experience, because
Yeah.
I'm not qualified in that realm. But what I can do is go in and talk about my experience and
Right.
how getting into personal development has saved me, and the well-being solutions that have worked for me that I do feel would work for other people, because they are just basic things that we overlook every day. But
Mm,
I can bring in, I have got connections with Hannah, who's a mental health nurse, and she
mm,
goes in and provides corporate solutions. She does a lot of our workshops. I've then
right.
got another person that I know that owns a hormone awareness company, so she does a lot of hormone training. She is going through the menopause herself, so she's perfect fit
Mm,
to go out and deliver her own menopause workplace training. um,
right.
and the list goes on. There's so many
Yeah.
different people, and I think there's so much power in collaboration. So
You need to
we've
introduce
got,
me to all
yeah,
of these
so
people.
three. Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'll do that after the podcast for sure, because you need
Yes,
to be in
yes,
touch with these people. They're
yes. I mean,
amazing.
I
But
I
yeah.
need them in my life.
Yeah. Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
saw
But
your bio.
mm,
That it says here that you're pleased to see that it has turned out to be a haven for overthinkers. Now, I
mm,
don't know if I'm biased, but I think every single woman and girl around the world, they suffer from overthinking.
yeah,
Our gender
yeah, yeah.
think a lot. And my hypothesis is
Absolutely.
because we have so much societal pressure.
Mm,
You
mm,
have to be nice, but not too easy.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
to you have to be, you have to lead, can't be bossy, right?
yeah,
So there's so many basically we have to walk on eggshells while trying to find the sweet spot to even just exist in the world where
mm,
people don't call us, oh, she's a bitch or she's a pushover. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to
yeah,
be? So we overthink everything. Like
yeah,
if I just said one sentence,
yeah.
we're like, was that the right way to express myself? What if they are offended? Things
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh, yes. Yeah, yeah. That's me all
What's
the time.
your
And I do think men struggle with this too. I really do, because I work in that space where I've met a lot of, especially a lot of really fantastic young men that are really changing the way that young men think about mental health, and challenging they're standing up and they're telling those their stories, and I've become really really good friends with a lot of them. And they we sit and we have these open honest conversations about how they overthink and worry about all these things. So I think, but no, I see where you're coming from, in the sense that it is a very female thing to just overthink. I've got a lot of male friends, when I say I'm feeling this, and they're like, yeah, I don't feel that. Where I just I can just take one very basic thing and just make it so, I can just overthink it so much, or something that's
and you
happened like
replay everything.
5
You
years
replay the
ago.
conversation,
Yeah.
you replay the scenario, and you even
Oh my
instead of
gosh,
moving
yeah.
forward, you're like, what the shoulda, woulda, coulda question,
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah. Especially
I
when I'm
should
lying
have
in bed. Especially when I'm lying in bed.
oh,
I'm lying
what's
there
your
and my
tip?
brain, right, do you know what? My tip, and look, this is perfect question, because I'm still learning this. And for anyone
Yeah,
listening thinking, oh,
yeah.
I should have it figured out, no, you shouldn't. We're all still learning. I go and deliver workshops and talks on this. I'm still learning. But I
Yeah.
think the things that I've noticed is it's like an electrical circuit, right? You To stop the electricity from flowing around that circuit, you've got to put a cut in it. So like if I'm lying
Mm,
in bed,
circuit breaker.
if I'm really going off on one, yeah, like the night I text my mum saying I'm gonna go and find a full-time job tomorrow, that evening it was non-stop. I had to get out of bed. Like I'm not sleeping anytime soon. So I had to get you, because the longer I lie there, the longer
Mhm.
that electricity is going to flow around that
Um,
circuit, and I'm just
so you,
gonna continuously overthink.
right. So
So
you
I've
have
got
to
to
just.
come out. I've got to get myself out of, yeah,
Mm,
distraction. They say about, there's a good one that I heard actually. Think about think about an elephant.
mm,
Think about an elephant, because as soon as that gets in your head, you can't stop then thinking about this grey elephant. And so if you are overthinking about something, just think about the elephant. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, the elephant, okay. And it moves your focus to something else. But for me,
mm,
yeah, I think it's it's good to be able to sit there and think about things. But
mm,
if your mind is, wandering in this unhelpful path, then I think
mhm.
it's very important to cut it and to, get up, maybe go and dance in your kitchen, or put some music on, or, well, obviously do both, because otherwise you can't dance if you've got no music. I mean, I don't know, you could just dance to nothing. But go and do something. For me, cleaning the house is like my favorite. I just get up and I clean. If I'm
And
overthinking too much, I'm like, right, something needs to be cleaned.
yes, yes. Oh, two things that I think. Well, a, you can like obsessively clean and tidy and Marie Kondo your entire house, right? Which is
Mm.
nice anyway. You end up having a really tidy house.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or this is what I've noticed from the trend. You know how true
Mm.
crime podcasts and series and documentaries are very popular
Mm.
these days, and amongst women
Yes.
especially. And I have a suspicion, well, I just theorize that I think that is an escapism from
Mm.
overthinking. So that is a good distraction or disruption from that circuit of the vicious cycle of, oh, the
Yeah.
shooter was, yeah. So may as well just watch
Yeah.
like a mass murderer from the 1950s
Yeah. Yeah.
and your mind off it. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Could that be the case?
I don't know. I think you know what? I think you're right, because I think a lot of things we do are forms of escapism,
Yeah.
and they're just they're all just dopamine hits, aren't they? Oh, I'm gonna go, and when I get home, like, I think in my head, like, it's like this little exciting thing, because I've started banning myself from social media for like half of the week. So it gets to like a Friday when it's time to re-download the apps, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go and scroll through Instagram. I'm gonna go and do, and you're just like, is this where we've got to in life? Like, how are we getting, we're getting such big dopamine hits. So I think we really need to be careful where we're getting those dopamine hits from. But one thing that I should have mentioned earlier about overthinking as well is actually challenging these thoughts,
Mhm.
because I kind of, again, overthinking about it, for actually, I'm saying to people, get away from these thoughts. Yes, I do think that helps for me to stop them, because there's only so much thought challenging I can do, but some of my thoughts are just, you know, they're relentless and they don't stop. So for
Yeah,
me
they
to sit and
spiral.
thought challenge every single one, it's going to take a good couple of weeks, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
for
How
me,
are you
cutting that
gonna
circuit is
really
really good.
are you gonna really audit every single thing? The thing is, while you're
Yeah,
auditing, you're
yeah,
wasting the time for you to do the right thing. I do agree with
yeah,
you know, test and learn and iterate. That's why my tip
yeah.
for overthinking probably is it something that you can help? Is there something that you
Mm,
can do to make it better? Do you have another chance
yeah,
to make it
yeah,
better? If you don't,
yeah.
move, forget about it, pretend it never
Yes,
happened.
exactly that.
For me, the coping
Exactly
mechanism
that.
is denial. If there's nothing I can do,
Yeah,
denial. But if there is
yeah.
something I can do, at the very least, I will tell the person, the client, or my partner, or even my children, like, okay,
Mm,
this is what happened, versus this is what should have happened. So next time we see
yeah,
this similar situation, um, please expect that it's the better one that will happen to
Mm,
us, to this
mm.
conversation, and so on. So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
the two distinction. If you can improve, let's do it. If there's nothing you can do, if the
yeah.
ship has sailed, we have a saying in Indonesian culture: the rice has become a porridge. You can make it to rice again.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I
when,
love that. I love
when you
that.
put rice and you put too much water
Yeah,
and it becomes a porridge, you
and I
cannot
have done
undo
that many a times. Yeah, that cannot be
it.
undone. That
Yeah,
cannot be
may
undone.
as
Yeah,
well.
I
Just
feel like
wanna
that's
make that.
I feel like that's a personal attack, Rebecca, about my cooking because my cooking's quite renowned for being there are some dishes I do really well, and then there are quite a few that I really don't do great. But I'm learning.
What
Egg on
what's a
toast,
Caribbean?
however. So we have a lot of different things, which you know what is really it's really sad because a lot of people in my family that were that cooked a lot of the Bayesian dishes have now passed, and I'm like, I feel like I need to learn how to make these things, you know, otherwise we're gonna lose that. But you know, ackee and saltfish, jerk chicken, um 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 curry
What is
goat.
no,
Yeah.
I've heard of jerk chicken
Mm.
used. Also, I think is it Jamaican food as well?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't know. The Well, I guess I could have Googled it. But it's like it's so funny when you
Yeah.
when you see jerk chicken. What? That chicken was a jerk when he was alive or what?
Yeah. You should try out in when you next come to Portsmouth.
Yeah.
There is a Caribbean restaurant,
Hmm.
and you know what? I'm gonna I can't remember what it's called. That's so typical, isn't it? Let
And
me
this
Caribbean food in
So when you
Portsmouth.
next come to Southampton, there is a Mauritian
Mm.
restaurant
Ah, okay.
and probably similar. Well,
Mm.
tropical country.
Mm.
You see, we like our
Yeah.
curry, our coconut based dishes and drinks.
Yeah.
We love
Yeah.
banana pickle and our chilies. Do you like hot, spicy food?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. My tummy
we
sometimes
will
is
be
just like,
friends.
why? But yeah, Natty's Jerk it's called in Portsmouth. And it
Okay,
does, yeah. So if you want to get a taste of the Caribbean, then that's where you need to go 100%.
nutties. Okay, okay. So this mindset maintenance has been around for 2
Mm.
years. What would
Yeah,
you
beginning
describe as
of 2022, yeah.
wow? And how can you tell us what is the highest moment as a company and what is the lowest moment as a company that you've experienced? Literally, then the ups and the downs.
Mm, gosh, I feel like it's not long enough to, but I
Well,
think there's
so
probably
far.
been, yeah, yeah, this is true. So I think the highest moment
Mhm.
I think the highest moment was, you know, I could go like I could I could say like, oh, the day that we registered or the date, but actually it was the
Mhm.
day that I had some really important people in my life, like, you know, close people to me that were saying like, you need to quit your job, like you need to go for this. And,
Mhm.
you know, I received a note saying that last year's event directly stopped someone from taking their own life. And he
Mhm.
put it to me in a note. He was like, you know, I'm not saying any name because,
Mhm.
you know, don't want to, they don't want to share that, but you know, this is what you've done, like you need to make this a full-time thing, like you've got the medicine for it. And one day
Mhm.
I just jumped on a call in my corporate role and was just like, yeah, I'm leaving. And
Oh,
do you know what, I never expected that to happen. I don't
oh
even
yeah,
think I knew what I was doing at the time, but I knew that it felt right, like I knew that I had to do it.
yeah.
You know, when you're just like, I need to do this, and there was just like quite a few signs that were showing me that I needed to do it. You know, like obviously I lost my auntie, as I said, and someone that she used to go to university with, so random, because like an hour before I phoned up and confirmed that I was handing my notice in, I received a message from her on Facebook saying like, I can't believe that I've just found you, and I didn't even realize that your auntie passed, and yada yada yada." And she said, "I looked at some of your videos, and you are so like her, like you're so tenacious, like I can see that through." And you know, when you just think, I didn't, that video got sent to me, but I only opened that note, sorry, that message, but I only opened it after I handed my notice in. And do you know when you read something and think, yeah, I've definitely done the right thing, like this feels right.
Yeah.
And still to this day, like it feels like, you know, it's the right thing to do, 100%. And the lowest moment, gosh, I don't know. I think it would probably be, I can't pinpoint the lowest moment, but it was probably
Wow.
these, you know, couple of wobbles where I've
Yeah.
had moments where I'm just feeling low in myself.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, yeah. I think it would just be the, you know, the wobbles you have that are just around, can I do this? That kind of thing. So
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's and what would your tip be for fellow female leaders out there? Because again, I think our gender suffer more from self-doubt, either more
Mm,
frequently or more prone to feeling self-doubt and insecurity. And of course,
mm,
like people like you and I, we it's not like we have established our company after for 10 years and it's a now we have done
mm,
IPO, we're Fortune 500, nothing
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
We're still in the
mm,
trenches, right? and
yeah,
and I
yeah,
want, yeah, what would your tips be for start uppers out there that is feeling the um especially when they're rejected, if their proposal was declined, if there's any,
yeah.
some level of failure, what would your tip be?
I think I'd say, don't worry about having it all when you first start out. Like, be okay with learning it. Like, the cool part of it is that you don't know it all, and that you get to learn all this really great stuff, you know? Because now I look back now and I thought, never in a million years have I written a business plan and written policies. And yeah, do you know what? Actually, my business plan just got ripped apart, like not physically, but as in like, right, this needs to change. It's okay, fine, but I get to learn that all over again, you know? I get to relearn. I get to learn more about how a business plan should be. And by when I get to the end of it, I'm gonna have this fully, you know,
Proper.
this business plan. And yeah, so be okay with learning it all as you
Mm-hmm.
go. Uh, just because you're going through a bad patch doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't start something that you're passionate about. Like
Yeah.
that's part of life. So don't let
Yeah.
that think don't let that make you think that you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. And then
Yeah.
I'd probably say, if you've got a feeling about something, go for it with everything you've got. Just go for it. Just do it, because
Mm-hmm.
life's too short.
Yes. And I guess, and I've it's been on my mind in the recent weeks that, yeah, you got to start before you're ready, because
Mm, mm,
I have three little kids, and every time I see each of them learn how to walk, of course they start
mm.
walking before they can walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't wait
yeah,
until you are
yeah.
able to
Absolutely.
walk to start walking.
Exactly that. Exactly that. You don't just get up and know, you know. So
It's not like suddenly they just strut
yeah, just
the catwalk.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly.
You have
Like,
to,
you gotta be okay with not knowing it all.
yeah, you have to, like, I guess when you feel the wobble, know that it is
Mm.
part of learning how to walk, that you wobble and stumble and you hit your head on the sofa, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna ask my friend if she can bring up my charger. Because I didn't plug my laptop in and I'm like, oh no. I'm
This
like,
is like
oh, I didn't
some
bring my
life. We
charger.
we live we live
Yeah,
on battery, caffeine, and Wi-Fi.
literally, literally. Caffeine, absolutely. I can't believe I've only had like one cup of coffee this whole day, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you the very last question.
Mm,
Hypothetically, in your idyllic utopian world, complete this
yes.
sentence. When I'm king.
When I'm king, I'm going to make sure that that there is some sort of basic well-being plan that everyone has to undertake, like on the curriculum in schools, in colleges, like workplaces, like there is just that level of well-being so that everyone, no matter what, you know, what background they have, like wherever they are, it is free for everyone, whether that be like a mixture of like coaching, therapy, like just like some one-to-ones, but it should be like a minimum. And
Yeah.
oh, this is another one. Sorry, I've got to
You can have
MOTs.
five.
MOTs
Yes.
with
Mm-hmm.
doctors once a year. Like, imagine all those people that just don't go to the doctors because they don't think they need to. Like, oh, I'm not going to go to the doctors. No, you have to. Once a year, you have to go to the doctor. You have to get a full check. Like that.
Including
When
this
I'm
bit.
king, that's going to happen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly that. Exactly
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
100%.
So when Bianca is king, health, physical and mental, should have what does MOT stand for? For people outside the UK,
Oh, I don't
they would
know.
know, right? Even we don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
That would be a good question.
Mo I actually don't know. Should we ask Siri? Hey Siri, what does MOT stand for? Siri doesn't want to help today.
He is having a mental health break.
Yeah, Siri is not. Siri is logged out. It's Friday.
MOT.
Ministry of Transport. Ministry
No,
of
MOT
Transport.
definition. Car. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, really? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
MOT is not even the activity. For crying out loud. Right. Wikipedia said MOT is an annual test of vehicle safety, roadworthiness aspect, and exhaust emission, and it's required in the United Kingdom. So yeah.
Yeah, we should
Wow.
we should have that on our
Yeah.
bodies.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
Ministry of Health.
Yeah. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
have an MOS. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Um,
Yeah,
no, I love the fact that it's so. If anyone can take away anything from this podcast, it's like the definition of MOT.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Bianca, thank you.
100%.
Yes, thank you so much. And everybody, if you would like to check out
Thank you for having
Bianca's
me.
CIC, um, it is mindset-maintenance.co.uk. And you can find Bianca also on, what are you on? On LinkedIn? On Instagram? Are you
Yep,
back on
I'm on
Instagram now?
LinkedIn as yep, which is at Bianca, no, at I am Bianca Louise underscore on my Instagram.
Wow, Bianca Louise, I love that. Well, thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for coming on. And listeners, you can expect more female representation on this podcast. But of course, if you do have some cool chick doing cool shit, email me, Rebecca@upgradingwomen.com, because I want to be having a conversation with her. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to rate 5-star because that will make me so happy. Thank you. See you in the next episode.
See you
Yeah.
guys. Oh, amazing.